素晴らしい。二人とも実に素晴らしい。
10. Stabbing solves everything. Muggy, the labyrinth of magic.
Dark Jin!
Why is it that when it comes to dark rituals, there's always someone getting impaled? Well, in this instance, the candidate is the beautiful yet psychotic Dunya, who seeks to turn herself into a dark Jin by forcing a dark metal vessel through her body.
The organization must be allowed to see my true power. It resides deep within me, too, and I'm ready to prove that to them all.
She must have some serious upper body strength and commitment, because the dainty member of Alpha Men manages to skewer herself like a kebab, paving the way for her body to twist into a gleeful monster that you'd expect to find skulking around at the bottom of a typical fantasy dungeon. Number 9. Surprise! Cthulhu. Bungo Stray Dogs. Lovecraft is already an unsettling individual, even by guild standards. However, that all gets turned up to 11 when he activates his ability and, much like his namesake, becomes a creature of eldritch proportions, complete with all the tentacles and horrifying features you can imagine. He may have turned into a giant target for Chuya's corruption by the end of it, but there's no denying the sheer stature and menace Lovecraft exudes when he decides to let his inner horror out of the bag. That mug is the stuff of nightmares. Number 8. Coda has issues. Devilman Crybaby. Losing the love of your life while trying to keep your sexuality hidden is bound to cause some stress. Of course, when it comes to this track star, his sorrow ended up taking a more violent turn when he was turned into a demon hybrid, causing him to transform into a rampaging boar monster with a nasty habit for goring people to death. Doesn't help that this sudden shift comes at the most inopportune of moments, and while the rest of the innocents on that track field had it rough, you somehow have to feel sorry for Coda as well. Number 7. Say hello to my little friend, Bleach.
My true ability is called Gluttonaria. It's quite simple. I devour dead hollows and absorb both their spirit energy and abilities.
Just when you thought that Aronero couldn't get any uglier, he managed to pull off something like this. After his true form is exposed by Rukia, the 9th Espada decides to go all in and reveal his Resurrection, which in this instance happens to be a giant mass of purple sludge and flesh, complete with an oh so creepy smile just to sprinkle on the revulsion. While it didn't end up amounting to much, it's still the most off-putting release form of the entire Arrancar race.
In case you can't do the math, that means at this moment, as you stand there alone and consider fighting me, you're facing off an army of over 30,000 hollows!
Kaien.
Number 6. Faceless. Attack on Titan.
Frida, battete. Never.
Good to know that despite being a pathetic worm of a man, a horrific excuse for a father, and generally a waste of life, Rod Rice was at least able to give us a memorable moment when he lapped up some Titan serum and turned himself into the largest one to date. gargantuan in size. What puts this above the rest of the abnormals that the Survey Corps have encountered is the fact that Rod ends up losing his face, and most of his torso in the process, looking like a sentient, mangled corpse that towers over everything else. Number 5. Envy is always ugly. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay then, if that's how you want it.
You would have thought that being able to regenerate and shapeshift into anyone he chooses would be rough, but as it happens, this homunculus has one final trump card under his bandana, and that's the handy ability to turn himself into a giant green lizard adorned with numerous screaming faces. It's a hideous form to behold, and one that would normally mean death for anyone caught in that gross maw of his. Unless you're the Flame Alchemist, that is, in which case, it's open season.
So you better give it all.
Number 4, you deserved it. Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works. Ever wondered what it means to become the vessel for the Holy Grail?
Any master can be an anchor, and we happen to have one right here, don't we?
Huh?
The answer is that you get your stomach busted open, a heart forcibly shoved inside, and as a result, your entire being morphs into a shapeless blob of flesh that only continues to expand, while you yourself writhe in unbearable anguish.
No, it hurts! It really hurts!
The fact this happened to Shinji of all people is pure karma, and while we're more than happy to put it on loop, it's not hard to be sickened by his eventual fate. The Grail is messed up, bro.
You wanted to possess the Grail? Happy to give it to you.
Number 3, every guy's worst nightmare. Call Me Tonight. Unlucky in love and life, Ryo has found himself with zero romantic prospects other than trying his luck with the ladies of the Madonna organization. It's not that he's lacking in charm or anything, it's just that he has the terrible tendency to transform into a monster whenever he gets a little too hot under the collar. Like here, when he freaked out and turned into something that can only be described as Junji Ito's creative leftovers. Well, he's not going to be able to return to that cafe anytime soon. Number 2, The Curse of the Abyss. Made in Abyss. One of the most heartbreaking and inhumane acts to ever be displayed throughout anime, the way Miti goes from optimistic orphan to a bloody collection of mentally broken flesh does not make for a pleasant viewing experience. Exposed to the lowest level of the abyss, all Miti can do is wail for her friend while her skin melts off and she writhes in absolute agony for way too long. By the time the hell ride is over, all that's left is the groaning blob we've all come to adore, who we now know was deconstructed in the most painful way imaginable.
素晴らしい。二人とも実に素晴らしい。
Number 1, Tetsuo's End. Akira. While there will likely be plenty more gory and graphic transformations down the line, none can ever hope to capture the sheer artistry of watching Tetsuo's body start to warp and expand into something truly horrifying.
Help! Kaneda, help!
As his telekinetic abilities start to go haywire, Tetsuo quickly loses his human form, rapidly bloating into an all-encompassing mound of flesh, technology, and death.
Please, help me!
Not sure what's more shocking, his final form, or the way he ended up crushing his love interest between his psychic fat flaps. This was certainly not a fun time for anyone involved. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.